Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this NextCycle Michigan webinar, Accelerating Recycling and Recycled Content Manufacturing in Michigan. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. I am Melissa Radwan. I am the Director of Marketing for RRS, and I'm your technology host today. I'm going to go through a few housekeeping issues. All attendees are muted, so we will not be able to hear you. However, we do want to hear from you. So we ask you to use the Q&A panel to submit your questions for our panelists. We have a very packed agenda today, but we're going to try and get some questions from you all. And if we can't answer them during the session, we will be sure and contact you after the session. So use the Q&A panel, not the chat panel, the Q&A panel. You'll see that at the bottom of your screen in your menu where it says Q&A and it has the little chat bubbles. Go ahead and click on that and start submitting your questions anytime during the webinar itself. We will be recording the webinar and it will be available on nextcyclemichigan.com for future viewing. We will also be sure to send out a link after we have formatted and uploaded that to the website. But be sure to check out nextcyclemichigan.com. In the meantime, lots of great information on there. Now I'm going to turn it over to our moderator, Dan Radomski of Centropolis Accelerator, and he will walk you through our agenda and our panels. Dan, it's all yours.
Great, thank you very much. So yeah, I'm the executive director with Centropolis Accelerator at Lawrence Tech University. Thanks for joining us today. We're a partner on the program. For those not familiar yet with NextCycle Michigan, it's a state of Michigan initiative funded by the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, also known as EGLE. And it's managed and facilitated by Resource Recycling Systems, RRS, in collaboration with us, as well as Michigan Recycling Coalition and many other parties. NextCycle Michigan is a really unique program, just launching recently over the last few months and is committed for the next several years. And it really provides an opportunity for businesses, investors, NGOs, trade organizations, and others to contribute significantly to the growth of the recycling industry and the circular economy in Michigan. Entities can contribute to the program design, team recruitment, and review, and investment award pool. Many ways to get involved, which we'll talk about today. The program is really unique in that it utilizes innovation challenges to globally crowdsource the best technologies and ideas to improve repurposing of waste streams that are difficult to recycle and reuse. But at its core, NextCycle Michigan is really a recycling accelerator program, and we'll talk a little bit about that. For those that are less familiar with incubators and accelerators, we will share a little bit on what Centropolis does and what this program has ambition to do. And we'll feature some of the clients that we work with that are in the recycling, upcycling area of technology development and business development. We'll also share some examples of companies that have been accelerated through NextCycle Colorado, a program launched some time ago that was the inspiration for launching NextCycle Michigan. And we also have with us today, Elisa Seltzer, Senior Consultant with RRS, and Matt Flechter, Recycling Market Development Specialist at Michigan EGLE, to tell us more about the program in detail. So let's next go to my first slide. We'll be sharing with you a little bit of information on Centropolis and our organization and what we do. Next slide. But first, for those that are a little bit unfamiliar with incubators and accelerators, I pulled this definition out so can kind of just help understand what these terms mean. And they're kind of used interchangeably at times, incubators, accelerators, but essentially incubators are usually NGO driven, sponsored by economic development groups, and they're really meant to help early stage technology development, really incubate disruptive ideas and technologies, and try to build out a business model and support that idea into a formal company. Where accelerators are usually designed for more mature technologies that have been proven to some extent, and then really help scale that business. So at the heart of what we're doing at NextCycle Michigan is really trying to find technologies and ideas that already have some level of proven capability and really accelerate those ideas by connecting them to strategic partners and funding to support that scaling. Next. So just so you have an idea of some of the incubators and accelerators that are in the state of Michigan already. Centropolis is one, but there's several, Ann Arbor Spark, Techtown, and others that will be also collaborating on this project as well. Next. Centropolis is kind of unique in that we support really the entire state, and we're one of the few incubator and accelerator programs that are focused on hardware, physical products, advanced materials, and manufacturing technology. So really an ideal partner to support some of the technologies and companies that are coming through this NextCycle Michigan program. Next. The other thing that's unique about our program is we not only help startups, but establish small businesses that have ideas in the recycling, upcycling space. Next. We have programs not just with NextCycle, but also Clean Tech Hardware Accelerator funded by EGLE, as well as Industry 4.0 and Manutech Incubator funded by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Next. So what are some of the support services you might recognize going through and receiving support from an incubator accelerator? Many programs will provide a lot of business planning and operation support from business pitch deck development, business plan development, to more your planning and operations of what you would need to do to develop a successful business, as well as helping you seek investment and funding. Next. I think what's a little bit unique about what we do is we spend a lot of time helping with product development and technology development, including helping companies design their product better for manufacturability, helping them develop standardized work instructions and scale for manufacturing, including working with, identifying and working with the right suppliers for their application. Next. We use a unique training program that I helped develop that was funded by the Department of Energy that is really product development 101 and manufacturing 101 called Build for Scale. This is a free and online program, and we use the content in here to develop workshops, which will be a part of our NextCycle Michigan program too, is formal boot camps and training to support companies coming through the program. Next. We also have a unique prototyping space where we can design, engineer, and prototype physical products. And we can do this very affordably and very quickly. Next. And this is our team, is a number of people that have 20+ years of experience in product design, tooling design, materials expertise, prototyping and manufacturing that will make available to support companies coming through the NextCycle Michigan program. Next. This is an example of some of our design for manufacturability work. You'll see here many products come to it at a very early stage, usually roughly fabricated, what I call alpha prototypes. And then we use a unique methodology working with one of our partners, Monroe and Associates, to kind of map out both the bill of materials and the manufacturing process, which you see with this symbolization technique. And quite often we can, using this methodology, reduce complexity and part count. Go to the next slide. As you see here, we move from this particular product from 24 components down to 2 components. And more importantly, a much lower cost and easier to implement product that's even more durable in the field. So this is what we hope to be able to bring to companies coming through this program. Here's some examples of some of the products that we recently commercialized over the last 18 months. And next slide, some other products and technologies that we currently have in the pipeline that we're developing. So now let's transition and talk to a few of the clients that we've been working with, and clients particularly that are kind of in the circular economy space. First, I'd like to introduce Chris Hunter. She's the managing partner at Global Battery Solutions that provides battery recycling, repurposing, and remanufacturing services. Chris?
Great, thanks, Dan. Next slide, please. So yes, I'm Chris Hunter. I'm with Global Battery Solutions, and we have over 10 years of experience in battery lifecycle management services. We are a pioneer in the use of 4 Rs for approaching battery work. We perform repair and remanufacturing services. Those are the first 2 Rs. working to meet our OEM customer specifications so that batteries can go back into a vehicle for continued use. The third R, repurpose. We work with our customers to develop repurpose applications for xEV batteries. Quite often those are energy storage system applications, or ESS, or sometimes small equipment or handheld equipment, just basically trying to utilize the value or increase the value proposition for those xEV cells, extending their life in repurpose applications. Finally, when there's no longer economic advantage to using cells, they've reached their end of life, we perform recycle preparation services. We will fully discharge cells, net metering that power to our municipal utility, then disassemble those packs and consolidate all of those various materials for our recycling partners. So really our goal is to assist in creating the circular economy for batteries. GBS is also very involved in electronic support. We have a full commercial electronics lab, and we provide our automotive OEM customers with a specialization in EV drivetrain component service. So these are things like BMS repair. We can do work on circuit boards. We've worked on inverters, chargers, BCMs, ECMs, basically all of those unique products in the electrified drivetrain. We've touched them at some point along the way and done service work for our customers on those. And finally, our third business area is in solar, and we provide residential and commercial solar photovoltaic support, designing and installation of those systems, as well as work with new battery energy storage systems. We're a partner with LG Chem. So GBS is an innovation shop. We invest in R&D, and we provide consulting services as well. We have a product we launched in 2019, the Intelligent Cell, which we're very excited about. ICC is a wireless tracking and monitoring product. It allows cell level information and history of performance, basically allowing us to provide state of health reporting wirelessly. And we feel that this is really going to have an impact, and it already is, in various aspects supporting battery life cycle management. GBS is a connector partner for the DOE. We're very engaged with the Battery Recycle Prize. We've partnered with eCell Secure and Holman Parts and one of the teams to create some reusable safety dunnage. And this incorporates temperature and off-gas detection to help provide alert and early response to emergency response teams, getting information if there's some errant behavior in transit. So that's just one application of our technology that we are very excited about. As we know, with advanced chemistry batteries, transportation logistics is a real pain point. So that's an example of something we've done there. So always focused on quality and sustainability, but we're working in safety and efficiency in this industry, helping support all of the stakeholders that are involved in battery life cycle work. Next slide, please. So I wanted to just share some of our affiliations and awards and certifications. We were very excited this year to receive recognition as a Michigan Top 50 Company to Watch, as well as being named a Smart Zone Best Small Business. So those were really great for us, and we're very excited about being recognized. We participate as a member of the board of directors for NatBat, which is a nonprofit trade association that advocates for advanced battery technologies. We're ISO 9001 certified for both our service work as well as our solar. SBA women-owned small business. We have a UL certification for some large industrial electronic assembly work that we do. And then I noted that we're an LG Pro installer for their solar as well as their ESS products. So, there's a significant amount of work to do in this space. I have my contact information there, and certainly reach out to me if you're interested in talking about projects where we might be able to work together, because this is a massive undertaking to really get recycling moved forward. And we'd love to talk with you about how we can work together. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris. So Chris, quick question. You've had quite a bit of experience. You've been at this quite some time. Have really progressed as a business in this space. And I had the luxury of working with you on a couple of different occasions, your team, including when I was back at Next Energy. But you took full advantage of working with a number of incubators and accelerator programs, and even this America-made, innovation challenge. So can you talk about your experiences there and how that helped
Right.
along the way?
Right. I mean, we can't tell you how appreciative we are of the support that we've received. I mean, we've gotten some business accelerator grants. We work with our Lakeshore Advantage and the Small Business Development Corp. MEDC has given us support as well. We've worked with MSU and putting together an automotive and battery research report. And then the Centropolis Accelerator, we've done some business strategy development and planning. You've been able to provide us with contacts to partners that we've worked with in this industry, as well as with potential investors. And there have been grant dollars to help support some of the NRE costs with all of these kind of unique R&D projects that we're working through, as well as some process workflow analysis stuff that you were able to help us with. So really, these types of support mechanisms have helped us to continue to be able to work and address our passion here. It wouldn't be possible without it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being with us today. If anyone's interested, reach out. Included in the chat function, the web link to Global Battery Solutions. Thanks, Chris. All right, I'd like to also introduce a client we've been working with for some time, Pivot Materials. Really interesting company that has developed not only natural fiber, like bamboo-based injection molding compounds, but also uses waste organic fibers and converts them to injection molding compounds for a more sustainable material to be used in products. So with that, I'd like to introduce Raju Patel, the engineering manager for Pivot Materials. Raju.
Thanks, Dan. Next slide, please. So Pivot Materials is a innovative clean tech company that's solving the plastic crisis by using agricultural waste and industrial waste. Next slide, please. So bamboo fiber composites is our flagship material. We have invested significant amount of time, money, and energy in developing this technology. And now we are using the same technology or similar technology to develop other waste streams like rice hull waste, coffee waste, almond waste, and use these waste materials to give it a second life and not allow them to go into the landfill or getting burnt. We have been working with some preliminary industrial waste as well, like recycled carbon fiber, and we are now looking into paper mill wastes. And we are always open to new waste streams and avoid them going into the landfill or the waterways. Next slide, please. So Pivot Materials develops two kinds of metals: recyclable, which has up to 45% of natural fiber content. And the other one is compostable, which has up to 100% of natural fiber content or biopolymers. Next. So our main goal is to eliminate plastics as much as possible by developing sustainable and eco-friendly materials that are cost-effective and also recyclable or compostable. Next. So the challenges for the plastic recycling industry are great. All the non-floating plastics, mixed material plastics, and black plastics are considered not recyclable. And on top of that, there are hundreds of types of plastics, makes it very difficult to sort and recycle. So all these issues make plastic go to the landfill or the waterways. Next slide. The solution to this is the closed loop system and satisfy the requirements of the APR and the MRFs. And the materials needs to be recyclable, highly recyclable. And the most important thing, I believe, is localization of these closed loop system, because we cannot transport materials or products hundreds and thousands of miles, because it increases the cycle time, the CO2 emissions, and the cost in the end. Next. So as an example of Pivot Materials works, California generates 2.1 million tons of almond hulls every year, and mostly those are dumped or burnt. So we took those hulls and made this home and houseware product by using at least 30% of almond waste compounded with polypropylene or PLA. And our goal is to use as much as possible, probably close to 100% is the goal. That's lofty, but that is the goal to make it a truly sustainable and circular economy. Next. As per the request of one of our requirement of one of the customer, that we had to recycle our bamboo fiber composite for 5 times. And we did this test, and during each cycle, only 2% of properties got dropped, reduced. That made our compounds highly recyclable. Next. So apart from those benefits, what we do is we use from 25% to 100% of natural or waste materials in our products. And our products are highly recyclable, and we also do contribute to the reduction of CO2. And by localizing, we increase the employment in the local areas. Thank you. That's my small speech.
Thank you, Raju. Thanks for sharing the story of your business. Can you talk a little bit about your journey along the way as a kind of early stage technology development, now developing product, revenue positive? You worked with many incubators, accelerators, especially here in Michigan, not only Centropolis, Techtown, and others. So can you talk about the support they provided your business?
Yes, it has been very, very good and great for our business. All the incubators here. We worked with Techtown, and we also worked with you at the LTU. And the greatest thing about all this thing is the support you gave us in terms of mentoring and also bringing in those experts in residence. They helped us a lot in developing our operations and also helped us getting some grant money to get our patents and all the operations. And above all, we are really thankful to the government here and the incubators like LTU. Because of you guys, we are still self-funded and ability to even thrive, keep going during pandemic where businesses are down.
Thanks, Raju. It's certainly many needs as early.
And one more thing before I cut you, sorry. Your knowledge of also a bamboo fiber composite helped us a little bit more into what we are doing.
Yeah, thanks, Raju. It's been a pleasure working with you. I think as an early stage company, there's so many needs, developing the business, and developing customers, strategic partners, suppliers. Yeah. So that's why I think incubators and accelerator programs can be a lot of help, helping connect to early customers, strategic partners, suppliers, investors, even talent, right? Like we help Raju identify an operation management, manufacturing expert to help support as an extension of their team as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
If you want to know more about Pivot Materials, there's in the chat function a link to their website, and we can make direct connections, Raju, for those that are interested. So next, I'd like to turn our attention to what NextCycle Michigan is all about. So, and to do that, I'd like to ask Matt Flechter, Recycling Market Development Specialist at Michigan EGLE, and Elisa Seltzer, Senior Consultant at RRS, to take the floor. So let's start with Elisa.
All right, thanks, Dan. As you've already heard some glimpses of, NextCycle Michigan is a really innovative and unique opportunity that we've brought to Michigan. These innovation challenges are really designed only for the recycling space. I mean, we are bringing incubators and accelerators and all those cool support tools to recycling space and market development. Another thing that's really unique about NextCycle Michigan is that the Renew Partnership Portal is a pathway for private organizations, trade associations, and others, public sector agencies, brands, manufacturers, to amplify investment in NextCycle Michigan and connect resources to those innovation challenges where the mission and goals align, or even support independent shovel-ready projects along the way. Next slide, please. This is all building towards building a circular economy in Michigan. It's unique partly because of its collaborative nature. This is an EGLE initiative, but RRS has partnered with the Michigan Recycling Coalition and Centropolis Accelerator to bring their networks, their skills, their expertise, and all of the supports that will be provided as part of this program. Next slide, please. So it's also collaborative in terms of teams. When you look at the different challenges and think about applying, we're really interested in having folks collaborate in those applications. Now, you can be an individual organization or entrepreneur or community that applies to participate in a challenge, but we are encouraging cross-sector collaborations to start bringing those partnerships together at the front end. Any innovative idea focused on improving material recovery or the recycling supply chain will fall in one of these tracks, and it's all about building a circular economy in Michigan and building those end markets as well as the supply chain that feeds them. Next slide. So what are the benefits? Michigan right now is at about an 18% recycling rate, and the state has a goal of increasing that to 45%. So what would that do? We all know there are environmental benefits and climate benefits, but there are also real economic benefits. If we tripled our recycling rate, we would grow to 138,000 jobs in Michigan, $9 billion in annual labor income, and over $33 billion in economic output. So this is real tangible economic benefit and a driver for our state. Next slide, please. So all of this will be built on best practices. So we know that across the supply chain, if we're going to grow our end markets, we need to make sure we're getting the commodities to them. So in Michigan, we need to see improvements across the supply chain: access, collection, processing, building those end markets for those different commodities that really are lacking them. But we also need best practices in education, engagement, supporting policies, and as I mentioned before, that public-private funding. Neither the private sector nor the public sector can do this alone. This is also about leveraging those partnerships to help reach those goals. Next slide. So there are 6 innovation challenge tracks. The first one of the first ones we're going to launch is flows, foods, liquids, and organic waste. 38% of the material disposed in Michigan is organic waste, and that is unacceptable. There are lots of opportunities to increase recovery of organics. Only 8 of 150 compost facilities in the state currently accept food waste. Huge opportunities there, both in access, collection, processing, but also in the end markets. The intergovernmental initiatives in public-private partnership space is the place for counties, municipalities, regional authorities, those that want to collaborate with others. You might be a county interested in developing a regional hub and spoke MRF, but not have what you need to collaborate with those surrounding partners, or connecting with private sector partners to make it real. So that's a space for you. Micros these are small grants under $10,000, but these are small investments with big potential. These are for projects that are scalable, replicable, serving an underserved community, or just a cool new idea that needs a little help so that it can be ready to apply to one of these other challenges. RIT, you already heard some examples from Dan and the former speakers. Any cool idea, it could be either for a new product made with a recycled commodity, or it could be a new process innovation, say like AI that will sort recyclable packaging from food waste before both are recovered. Recycling supply chain is anything along the supply chain. So it not only could be, oh, we want to develop a regional hub and spoke MRF, it also could be, we want to develop a supply chain for textiles, right? So it could be very commodity specific, or it could be broad, like we want to establish a network of comprehensive drop-off centers. And the last one, little brief tidbit, is roads. This, of course, is a priority of our governor, but it also has huge potential to increase end market opportunities for materials that are currently struggling to find them, like glass, compost, asphalt shingles, tires, and mixed plastics, which can be used in drainage tiles. So lots of opportunities to engage. Next slide, please. What are some of the support resources you will receive if you become accepted as a team in an innovation challenge? There's going to be a resource repository with lots of data by commodity, by county, by region. There are going to be case studies, success stories, inspirational ideas for how to solve unique challenges. There is a technical advisory committee as well as innovation panels for each challenge track that will provide the subject matter expertise and mentoring along the way. There will be engagement events like boot camps and trainings to help network, refine, and improve your concepts, as well as collaborate with other teams. These will culminate in either pitch sessions or showcases, depending on the challenge track, which is where we bring in those funding partners, although they'll be there along the way to really evaluate who is rising to the top and shining. And this all results in project implementation, real impact on the ground, opportunities for partnerships, support, awards, and grants. So at this point, I am going to hand this over to Matt Flechter, who's going to talk about what's next.
All right, thanks, Elisa. So because I could see all the attendees and I've worked with so many of you on this before, I know that you're thinking, all right, I got it. I know that this stuff is important. Yes, we agree with Lindsay, roads, we got to get that stuff into roads, and organics is number one. Thanks for the chat on that, by the way, Lindsay. I agree. So what is next? Right now, we are asking you to do one of two things. First, go to the NextCycle website and sign up for the newsletter. You can choose to, if you don't have an idea yet, if you're not quite, you're just trying to get some more information, make sure you get into that queue so that we can alert you when those dates are coming to put together your 3-page proposals so that we can review them and get them into the either shovel-ready projects available for funding right now, or into the boot camp if you need a little bit more assistance, like what we talked about, what Dan talked about earlier. Or if you've been sitting on some idea and you're like, I want to figure out how to get funding, how to get the technical assistance, where's the data? I want to solve this, black plastic problem or something like that. Put a short summary on the NextCycle website and detail it out, and then one of our team will be contacting you directly to get more information and start making those connections of partnerships so that we can ready you for that time when the NextCycle pitch launches. So if you look at this slide, we're in the process of early engagement. We're informing, getting people ready. One of the things that we've recognized, you can go to the next slide, please. One of the things that we've recognized at EGLE is, as when the Renew Michigan Fund became available, we knew that we needed to get out there, get some early growth in recycling using that funding quickly. What we recognized is some communities and some businesses needed a process to get ready for those funds. And we don't want to just be funding those projects that are already going to move forward. We want to grow that innovation and incubation of new ideas. And then also what Elisa talked about with best practices. So that's what this process is meant to be. This isn't new. This isn't, doing incubation isn't new. There's a lot of people that are doing that. And what we saw is we needed to bring that to the recycling space so that all of you on this call that have your ideas can get that same level of assistance, because it is successful. It does show results. And if you'll see that on this slide, one of the most important things about this is we've recognized that Michigan has a certain amount of funding that we can put toward incubation and growing projects and recycling grants. But there's so many more organizations out there that are looking to partner, and we've seen some of those grow in Michigan, and we want to do more of that. We know that there are investment opportunities, and there's over $100 million of committed investment that we are going to be channeling into these either shovel-ready projects or those projects through the challenge tracks and then the final pitch. So next slide, please. So what does it look like? What does success look like? We know that this is an entire ecosystem that we're working on building. This is a systems approach to growing recycling markets, to having infrastructure in place, and then ultimately impacting and supporting all communities in Michigan. we want to fill those gaps. We've done some we've done a detailed analysis of where those gaps are. Those are gaps in processing availability as well as gaps in specific materials. And that is also going to be in the information that will be available to the teams. Attracting that investment we've already talked about, increasing that access to infrastructure and markets, and ultimately growing a robust circular economy in Michigan. So thanks.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Lisa. Very exciting program. Very excited to be able to work with you all on this. In the interest of time too, I think we're going to have to move ahead. So if you have questions for Matt or Lisa, I encourage you to use the Q&A function and submit your questions, and Matt and Lisa will try to monitor those as well as the rest of the team and provide a response. So moving on, we'd like to talk a little bit about the program that inspired what we're doing here. NextCycle Colorado was instituted a number of years ago, and just like NextCycle Michigan had a accelerator and incubation support program, and some companies that have gone through that process have benefited a great deal, and we wanted to kind of share their stories and their experiences with that. So first, I'd like to introduce Monique DeGiorgio with Table to Farm Compost. Monique.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's pretty exciting to see just how many individuals and businesses are on this webinar. So thanks for allowing me to just take a few minutes to share my story. I'm co-owner of Table to Farm Compost. We're here in Durango, Colorado. It's the very southwest corner of the state. I have one other business partner. We're 50% business owners. I'm going to tell you a little bit how we got to that decision, but NextCycle Colorado was absolutely instrumental for us to accelerate our business model. And there's a few kind of key takeaways I wanted to share with everybody on the call that I thought was kind of interesting, things that maybe you wouldn't have expected would come out of an accelerator program, or maybe you would. So just a little bit about Table to Farm Compost. We're La Plata County's only curbside compost pickup business. In addition to picking up food scraps, we are now, thanks to the investment of the state, building a Class 3 facility with the support of state funds, CDPHE, our Colorado Department of Public Health and the Environment. And the NextCycle process, which I was in the first cohort, might almost be 2 years ago now, was really instrumental in kind of getting us where we are. So the slide that you see right now is kind of the vision that we had over 2 years ago of creating a product line with our compost called San Juan Organics. And I'm not going to show you the next and last slide till I'm done speaking, but in short, in less than 2 years, we've made that a reality. A little bit when you look at organics and what we're doing, it's not highly technical. So in that way, we had maybe a little bit of a lower threshold for success. But some of the pieces that NextCycle really helped us with. So I came with my Table to Farm Compost hat to the NextCycle program. And I came with some colleagues in the recycling world. And I would say that one thing that I hadn't anticipated that the program helped us to do is really bring us through a process of determining what our business model would be. And in the end, what I thought that the business model could be was really not what we embraced. Instead, I pivoted to see that the Table to Farm Compost business model that I was already, co-owner of at the time was where we wanted to spend our investment to build out that model, which is really about the closed loop system. The other model that was on the table was looking at kind of more of your traditional recycling yard. It was going to be a resource recovery park where there were traditional tipping fees. And again, that model could work for other folks. For us, we felt like we had a really big investment already on the table in the fact that we were serving 200, residents in the region and picking up their organics or their food scraps. So in the end, we decided to not have the partnership as kind of initially described to NextCycle, and we really built on Table to Farm Compost. When we did that, we were then lined up, thanks to NextCycle, to receive what is called in our region RREO, grants. They're recycling recovery economic opportunity. I think I got that right, grants. And we've now received 2. The first one was for the equipment to create the product line. That was $102,000. The second one was for infrastructure to build this class 3 facility. That's the permitting process for us in Colorado. That was $188,000. That investment was instrumental. During the NextCycle process, we looked at whether we wanted outside investors, and we really decided that our business model and our kind of local self-reliance model did not lend itself to outside investors. And so really the state is our biggest partner, and I can't overstate, right? Like the fact that not only at the state level do we have waste reduction goals, now we have an accelerator program that's really supporting waste recovery and a closed loop business model for something like Table to Farm. Couldn't have done it without them. The other thing that was really key was really the connections we made with other businesses in the cohorts, just getting your mind thinking about and kind of solidifying what that closed loop model would be or is for your business. So for Table to Farm Compost, we're pretty unique in the state. And I would say that it really has informed my thinking, even though it was aligned with my thinking, it's underscored the fact that Table to Farm Compost not only picks up organics from residents and commercial and potentially, folks like Ska Brewing, we're also creating now a product line of Artisan Soil, a variety of composts that go back onto agricultural land or in gardens, and it sequesters carbon, grows veggies, and it goes right back into our buckets, right? So it really is that closed loop model. I think that one of the previous speakers said not only is that environmentally sound, it is going to be very sound from a financial standpoint. I expect that when we start being able to sell the full product line, we'll be going from, let's say, $75,000 a year revenue to when that facility is built, we can scale up. We're talking about a $500,000 business. So that ability to scale up has been key. The last piece that I'll mention, if you go to the next slide, is that the NextCycle process was able to connect us with a composter who helped us build our recipe. And that's key in this product line, right? What goes into your Artisan Soil? And I just put this picture in here. It's really fun because it looks just like the picture we had sourced from online, right? But actually it's our product, and that was all within 2 years. This label, you'll see, we tried to source locally. We tried to use as many, quote, waste streams as possible. So our carbon source for our compost is 100% Durango Wood Company, wood shavings and wood chips. We put biochar in our Artisan Soil. That's from wildfire mitigation, one county over. And a really risky thing that we did is we put crushed glass for aeration in the soil, and we had to educate our customers about why we were using the glass. Instead of transporting it to Golden, we're crushing it and putting it in the product. And I will say, I love this soil, and it's not just because I helped to create it and NextCycle connected me with a composter who could help us figure out how to put the recipe together, but we actually did a test this summer in my greenhouse, and our product out competed the highest quality product in the marketplace right now, which is Paonia Soil Company. It was only about 2 pounds of production. It was pretty neck and neck, but it's a very high quality product, all locally sourced. And if it weren't for the NextCycle assistance, we never really would have kind of broken the barrier to starting to play around with what that recipe looked like. And now we have a soil chemist on site who's helping us put together an entire product line. So that just gives you maybe a little bit of a sneak peek into what we've been able to achieve with NextCycle Colorado. Thank you.
Monique, thanks for sharing your story. Wonderful what you're doing. And we only have time for one question, very short response, but I'm going to ask the same question of Andrew and Ron. And I think I already heard it a bit in your comments, but had it not been for NextCycle, what may not have happened?
Oh, well, I could have gone down a whole path of a business model that really didn't work, partnerships that didn't work without being so informed. And I think I could have potentially been stuck on that recipe piece, because that didn't come naturally to me. Like, how do I get past this point of like, I know how to make compost, but I'm not sure, how to make an Artisan Soil. So it was those connections with the advisors. And when I look back, I think, man, I'm glad I just had the 6 months of all that support and time and energy to really think through this, and I tend to, most entrepreneurs tend to rush to a decision. Well, we didn't rush because we took the time to really go through that accelerator course. So
that's great, Monique. Thanks again for being here. And again, for those that are interested in connecting in the chat function, they shared the Table to Farm website, and we can make direct connections for those that want to reach out to Monique. Thank you. So next up, from the NextCycle Colorado program, Andrew Maxey, co-founder and CEO of Vartega.
Thanks, Dan, and thanks for having me today. I am Andrew Maxey. I'm originally from Michigan, so I'm actually representing today. You can't really see it, but my Traverse City bike shirt. I grew up in Traverse City, went to school in Ann Arbor, so it's fun to reconnect with a lot of Michigan folks. We're based in Golden, Colorado, and we participated in the Colorado NextCycle, I guess last year. And actually, Dan, I'll start off answering your question if that's okay. We're technology folks. So we develop technology around composites recycling, specifically carbon fiber, used in all the industries you see on our screen there. But we weren't recycling folks. That wasn't our background. And NextCycle really helped connect us to the infrastructure, the recycling infrastructure that exists here in Colorado, and now that's helping in Michigan as well, because there's so much about the logistics and everything else that that we just didn't have that perspective. So that was a huge benefit for us, and definitely saved us a lot of false starts going down paths where logistics just weren't going to make sense. So that was a big takeaway for us. We were fortunate to be able to work with other amazing entrepreneurs with that program. We have also been fortunate to receive funding from the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment as well. That's allowing us to invest in plastics recycling here in Colorado to incorporate our recycled carbon fiber with thermoplastics. And what we're realizing and immediately pursuing is doing the same thing in Michigan. There is a wealth of opportunity and a very strong need to take high value thermoplastics and keep them out of the landfill. So on the next slide, please, you can see some applications that we work on. Actually, this is our process flow that'll give you a quick high level. For those that aren't familiar, carbon fiber is really just a textile. It is petroleum based, and it's very energy intensive and expensive to produce, but its benefits are it's very strong, it's very lightweight, it's very stiff. So it's used in applications like aerospace, like sporting goods, bikes, for example, and automotive. It's similar to fiberglass, just higher performing. So if you have that frame of reference. But it's also very difficult to work with when it's not in a fabric form. So when it's recycled, it's shredded and it's discontinuous. And what Vartega has done, in addition to developing a chemistry-based recycling process, we've also developed a consolidation process to create these easy feed bundles that our customers in Michigan then can incorporate into their thermoplastics through traditional extrusion. So if you're familiar with plastics recycling, typically that material is pelletized through a twin screw or a single screw extruder, and we add our material in as a dry additive to reinforce that to make it stronger. We do a lot of polypropylene, a lot of polyamide, but have also done 3D printing with ABS and PLA as well. At the end of the day, that makes injection molded parts. And in the lower right is an example of a mirror bracket. That is not our material in there, but we have actually molded those with our material. And on the next slide, all of these products are actually shown with our material. It's important to note that we're working with the OEMs, auto OEMs in Michigan, 2 of them, actually 3 of them, and have been fortunate to get the green light on some funding through Michigan, through EGLE as well, to support those. We're very grateful for that, because that allows us to actually increase the recycling of these materials in Michigan and produce tangible parts. So the upper left is a wheel with a company called Encore Wheels, based in I think they're just outside of Sterling Heights. That is so bike wheel. It's also a sulky wheel, which is a really cool horse racing sport. Upper right is a transfer case cover, so that can be compression molded. Lower left is a crosscar beam or structural instrumentation panel. And then lower right is obvious to most, a fender, which is typically a metal part, typically a stamped steel. And what we're showing is recycled carbon fiber in thermoplastics, primarily recycled thermoplastics. You get very good performance with very low cost. So you can actually compete with traditional materials like steel and aluminum. So it's all about metals replacement. It's all about waste diversion, and then being able to lightweight vehicles to improve fuel economy and reduce emissions. So we're really excited about the work we're doing. We're excited about being able to collaborate with partners in Michigan and continue to expand there. So grateful for all of you. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Doing some really important work. And you've worked not only with NextCycle Colorado, but Techstars here, Mobility in Detroit, where I first met you, Clean Tech Open. You've really taken advantage of a lot of these programs. So can you just talk quickly about how that made a big difference in your progress over the years?
It's made all the difference. When we first started this, we were a garage startup, literally my garage. The first program we got into was Clean Tech Open in 2015, and kind of cut our teeth. We're all doing other things, right? This was a side hustle. So for any of those on the webinar today that are, to Matt's point, you've got an idea, you're thinking about something, you're like, I want to make a difference. Give it a try. There is so much support out there. Even much more than we had 5 years ago. All those programs that we've been able to participate in, there are mentors that actually care, and they'll coach you and guide you. And Centropolis and others are providing just incredible value, and it's worth the time. You get out of it what you put in. So definitely great programs, and grateful for the support of all those that have helped us get there.
Thanks, Andrew. And for those interested to connect in the chat function, the website for Vartega is there, and anyone wants to connect directly with Andrew will make those arrangements. So I'd like to bring up our last presenter, Ron Bassick-Smith, co-founder and CEO of Santa Packaging. Ron? Hopefully Ron is.
Oh, hey, can you hear me now?
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
Hey Dan, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
My speakers off. Yeah, just wanted to say thanks for having me here. Ron Bassick-Smith, CEO of Santa Packaging, and we went through the NextCycle program right before COVID started this year. So it was basically our last interaction with in-person business meetings. So it's been an interesting year since then. But yeah, basically Santa Packaging, what we are is a cannabis packaging brand, and what we are trying to do is implement circularity into the packaging industry specifically for the cannabis space. And I can get into that a little bit and why. But for what we do, we are when I say packaging brand, specifically want to clarify that we are not a manufacturer, and we are not a materials compounder. We see ourselves very much as the end demand pull for these types of materials and manufacturing processes. And so we are a material agnostic company. Right now we're using two materials that we believe are needed in the cannabis space, needed in packaging, and help solve a few issues within that space. And so we have a reclaimed ocean plastic. That's this product right here. And it is a pre-roll tube, a commonly used product in the cannabis space. We work with a company called OceanWorks, that is a network of processors, cleaners, and sorters for that material. Our manufacturer takes that and then manufactures it into a branded, usable product for the cannabis industry. And same thing for our hemp-based products, so hemp biocomposite. You've seen a couple companies present using similar materials. I think Pivot was doing something similar in terms of the material compounding that our manufacturers decide to use. And so that's a hemp-based biocomposite, 30% hemp hurd, micronized and compounded with a PLA. And so once again, these are materials that aren't really commonly found in the cannabis space right now, being a new industry. A lot of the materials are, just traditional virgin plastic. A lot of it's black. So just several issues around cannabis packaging specifically as to why it's not really working in the recycling system. And so for us, that's really our drive, is how do we use the cannabis industry as a way to transition from traditional models of waste to a more circular one. And so that means us as a company really taking on the role of producer responsibility. And so taking some of that responsibility off of the consumer and trying to put systems in place from the ground up within that industry get things off the ground and moving in the right direction, given all the difficulties with packaging in the space. And so, the NextCycle program, we're already an up and running business and had a proven business model when we started, but really for us, it's about, continuing to push what is possible with the industry of cannabis and what new materials and what new systems can we try to implement. And so for us, big thing that we want to do is try to get back cannabis recycling, cannabis single-use waste, and remanufacture it back into usable goods. And so that is something that we are actively working on. The NextCycle program in Colorado is really helpful. For us is just as many connections that we can make out there with people that have experience in this and or are doing something similar is super helpful. And I think, at this stage of our business, it's really, the most important thing we can do is be making connections and having conversations about what is actually possible, and not going too deep down, any single channel basically. And so, I just wanted to bring that out. And also, we were connected with Dan in Centropolis for basically an issue that came up with our products, and that we'll continue to have from a manufacturing, process and supply chain development. And so, I just want to say thanks, Dan, for all the help that you guys have given us in navigating these issues.
Thanks, Ron. And thanks for sharing a little bit about your company and your products and your journey. One quick question. We're a little bit limited for time, so need a quick response. But had it not been for NextCycle Colorado, what may not have happened for your business?
Yeah, I think I just kind of mentioned it, but getting connected with you guys and having the ability to really, have a team behind us of people who have been super experienced in dealing with some of the issues that our new team had not dealt with.
Great. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. And again, if you want to get connected with Ron and Santa Packaging, there's a link to his website there. And also we can connect you directly to Ron for those that want to either do business or learn more about Santa Packaging. So thanks. In conclusion, I'd like to just kind of wrap up here. Again, thanks to our presenters. So you've heard a little bit more about NextCycle Michigan. Now what, right? So we obviously urge those that are interested in the program to reach out to us, as Matt and Elisa pointed out. And as a reminder, NextCycle Michigan has really been designed to encourage participation from all parts of the value chain. So if you have a innovative idea to convert, waste streams to value-added products, and this program is definitely designed for you. If you are a manufacturer, municipality, material recycling facility, and you have recyclables with insufficient end markets or with limited value, this program offers an opportunity for you to participate, collaborate, and partner with others and solicit solutions from innovators that we will cast across the globe for ideas. If you are in the existing recycling value chain and have or need innovative ideas on how to collect, transport, process waste streams, then this program has opportunities for you to get involved. If you are, have expertise in recycling and just want to be involved, we encourage you to reach out to us. There's opportunities to be involved on review committees. If you're a company that has corporate sustainability goals and initiatives, there's an opportunity to align these efforts with this program as well. So if you're interested to participate in any way, please go to the NextCycle Michigan website, and there's an inquiry form to communicate your interest and reach out to us, and we will follow up with all who demonstrate interest. So again, thanks to our presenters, Chris Hunter, Raju Patel, Monique, Andrew, Ron, and special thanks to Matt Flechter, EGLE, and Elisa Seltzer with RS. With that, we conclude our webinar, and reach out to us. We'll try to get to all the Q&A and answer those questions, and we'll provide the recording to all that attended and registered for the event. Thank you.